Hi fans, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV for Notorious. Today we're getting extra details, getting steps closer to figuring out who caused Sarah Keaton's death. We're looking forward to finding out about that and more.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Lock pediatrics down.
Keeping it consistent with the song.
Hi fans, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV for Notorious. Today we're discussing Season 1, Episode 2, The Perp Walk, where we're getting steps and steps closer to finding out about Sarah Keaton's death. In the meantime, though, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Yemi Abayami, and I'm here with our lovely guest star today. We have Sepideh Moafi visiting us from the cast, as well as my fellow co-hosts.
Yes. Well, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Sepideh Moafi, Sepidehmoafi on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I have a Snapchat, but I don't really know how to use it. But once I use it, you can start following me.
I'm Becca Brown, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
I'm Mariann Shaginian, and you guys can find me on social media at Mariann_Shag.
All right, excellent. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ayamyams. So thank you so much for joining us today. We
Thank you for having me.
A really exciting episode today.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was so much. Yeah, it was amazing.
It was a juicy one. It was really good.
Consider me officially hooked.
Yay! Yeah, I feel the same.
Well, I have to start off giving kudos to Rebecca, because one of our main questions in last week's episode was who sent this photo to
She had
Julia.
it. I was pretty impressed. I was reading the scripts and we shot it and I didn't know until we got to that moment. I was like, no, he didn't. No.
Yeah, we gave her a little bit of a hard time. We were like, why would Ryan be the one? Why would he send the photo? And there you go.
Creepy.
So what made you think that?
That he was spying and taking those iPhone photos.
You can tell he's definitely committed to his job.
Yeah, he wants recognition, so he'll do whatever it takes to get that recognition.
Yeah.
From Julia. So.
And he's inexperienced, so he's more not. They all need to be fearless to a certain degree, but I feel like Ryan is more careless. Yeah. He's just kind of like, I'll go for it, and doesn't really realize the potential repercussions of his actions.
It's a daredevil.
Which is good. It's a gamble.
He got the job
Very
done.
much so.
Yeah, he got it done.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going to happen in terms of, we talked about it last week, the competition between him and Jake's assistant.
Ella, yeah, absolutely.
And, how we're going to see them vying for who can do their job better and who can kind of dig in there.
Anything you can do, I can do better. There's a whole song about it.
There is.
That's right.
And I'm just going to say, I don't trust Ella.
Ooh,
100%.
she said it. She said it. That's pretty great.
I like jealous girls.
Girls can be girls can be intense creatures, but so can guys.
Yeah, no,
just in very different ways.
I mean, she could have been having a relationship with Oscar too, so.
Oh, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
You're thinking that she kind of, potentially slept her way into that position as his assistant? Or associate, I guess.
Do you want to be one of our writers?
I'll pass. I think the writers.
Our writers are pretty bomb, actually. Pretty awesome.
I think the writers are doing great.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are.
Yeah, no, this is
They're
great.
really...
I mean, one of the things we talked about last week was just the number of twists and turns that the show involves. And so, with today's episode, we have the storyline of Abby and her son Noah getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
And it seemed kind of straightforward to begin with that, there's a lady who has a son that she loves and he's gone missing, and, how can we use media to help with getting the word out there. Yeah. But of course then we had this crazy twist. Well, kind of two twists really, because the ex-boyfriend Kyle, I believe, says that no, she never had a baby.
Yeah.
And you don't really know what his motive is and whether he's being sincere or whether he maybe just wants to.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then we find out, no, she does have a baby, but it's really the husband who's.
I know that
put her in that
turn
situation.
right there, right before that commercial break, where it's like you see her on our show and she's in tears, and yet he's on the phone and he's like, she doesn't have a child.
That phone call confused me.
It's yeah.
I was like, we just saw video.
Yeah. I know, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But the whole thing was, what did she do with
Yeah,
the child
right.
then?
Like,
how,
like, is it fake?
Yeah.
Well, that was what was so interesting. It's like, first off, does she there is a baby. So was
Somewhere.
that not
Yeah.
was that not her baby, or was it hers and Kyle's just mistaken?
Has she been plotting to get? I mean, we see this. We've seen this in the news time and time again, where mothers are just seemingly over having children. They're sick of it, and they just get. It gives me, it makes me sick even thinking about it. But it happens in all of these cases that are we explore week to week. They come straight from our sources, Wendy and Mark, and these are straight from the headlines.
I was going to ask about that. I mean, so are some of these kind of taken
Absolutely.
from reality? I mean, in the show they mentioned Susan Smith, who we know drowned her babies, I think, in a car.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of a similar situation if it turned out that Abby had done something to her children. So we see a reference to real life. Is that how it
Absolutely.
happens?
So it's interesting because it explores this world in the sort of behind the scenes in a fictional, format. But at the same time, I mean, today we had P. Diddy on, playing himself. And throughout the season, we'll see different people, high-profile artists and people in the news make appearances on the show. And so there's always kind of a blurry line between what is and what isn't. And we make a lot of references to real-life cases, like OJ and a lot of different cases that have come up in the media.
Yeah, I like that we're seeing like what happens behind the scenes once the camera stops rolling in the newsroom.
It's really interesting. And actually, when I first booked this role, I got on the phone with Wendy Walker, who was Larry King's senior executive producer for like 20 years, and she pretty much built the Larry King live show with him. I know, this woman's remarkable. Yeah, but I got on the phone with her and I asked her if I could shadow, if I could go into control room. So I actually had the privilege of sitting in the Good Morning America control room and the CNN control room in New York. And then when we were in Atlanta shooting the pilot, me and Kate Jennings-Grant and Piper Perabo, the three of us, along with Wendy and a few other people, we went into CNN headquarters in Atlanta. And it was crazy because there's that moment in the pilot, I don't know if you remember, where Megan says, "Are we throwing out the rundown?" When they find out about the hit and run. And she says, "Absolutely." I asked Wendy, I said, how often does this happen? I mean, is this something that happens like, every month? Is this something? And she says, no, it maybe happens a few times a year. So this is huge, and 2 out of those 3 times that I went into the control room, 2 of those times they threw out the rundown. One was when Obama was nominating the federal judge, and another time was Nancy Reagan's death. So it was crazy just being in the trenches with these, producers and watching how it all goes down, and just, man, there are a lot of women in the control rooms. It's pretty awesome and empowering, and it's also like quite right, because you got to know how to multitask, and nobody multitasks better than a woman. So I'm just gonna say it.
Girl power. Yes. So you know what it's like to be your character.
Totally. I mean, yeah, and also I befriended one of my good friends now. Is a girl named Caitlin Fulmer, who's a executive producer at Good Morning America, and the story her experience, it's surreal. It's such a different world, and it's so fast paced, and it's just very competitive, intense. It's such a trip, and it's such a privilege to be able to explore it through my character. I don't know if if I had to do it, I would do it in real life, but I don't know if I could. I mean, and you can also read Wendy's book, Producer, and she talks about a lot of her experiences from the OJ trial, Michael Jackson. I mean, she's been around for everything. Scott Peterson. I mean, everything.
And Megan's character is so critical. I mean, she's kind of finding out all of the critical pieces of information. She found out the information about Julia's boyfriend's philandering with the escort service. She found out, where these photos came from, who sent them internally to the department. She found Sarah's brother. So she's definitely critical in terms of like digging deep and finding doing the investigatory work and things like that. Do you relate to your character at all, or is there another woman on the show that you relate to?
I definitely. I mean, I think the nice thing, and I felt this way when I read the script, is that I find each of these characters incredibly relatable in their own ways. I mean, even like someone as extreme as Louise, it's like that party girl in us. You know what I mean? That's that side that we have where it's like, okay, whatever. Screw it. We're just gonna have fun. But definitely with Megan, I relate to her closer than any other character. She is very ambitious. I mean, very obsessed with what she does with her work and completely immerses herself in every story and every case and will go. I think the difference between her and Ryan is, and she sees a little bit of herself in Ryan wanting to make her own way in life and, pave her own path. And I think the difference is, though, that she's had more experience, obviously, and she knows how there's a certain wisdom that she's acquired. Whereas Ryan, like I said before, is kind of like he'll just do anything carelessly. And I think Megan knows how to use, but even before she took the job, she had a certain street smart about her with her past job and her experiences growing up and as a girl who's just had to pave her own way and rocket her career to the top. And I definitely relate to her passion, her drive, her ambition, her pursuit, her loyalty,
At this point, I think Ryan is kind of like the confused puppy dog in the story.
Yeah, you never know though.
He's kind of unleashed right now.
Yeah, he's very unleashed.
He's very passionate.
Yes.
About what he's doing.
He wants to
do good.
He wants people to respect him.
Yeah, he wants that respect.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But sleeping on your boss's couch, I mean, what did we think of that?
Well, yeah, and he's another difference between the two of us, our characters, is that Ryan comes from a family of privilege and wealth, and Megan definitely didn't. She's a working class girl who made her way in the world herself, and I think Ryan sort of envies that, not necessarily in her, but people who have that ability to make their own way, because everything's always been provided for him. And so I think that's why he's so unleashed now, is that he has a job in which he can kind of do that for himself.
It's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
I actually tweeted last week that I think there could be like a love triangle between Ryan, Ella, and Megan.
We'll just have to see. We'll have to see. We'll see the claws come out. No, anything's possible. You never know.
It could happen.
You never know. At this point, I think that Megan is just so focused in putting Ryan in his place. You know what I mean? It's like just calm down.
Yeah.
Just be patient. Do your time.
So I want to get your guys' perspective on Oscar. So what are we thinking so far in terms of, is he responsible for Sarah's death? Is he truly the loving husband? I mean, he's been drinking. He can't really keep himself together, which to me seems like the mark of someone who lost someone who is special to him. Yeah. But then we know that he's had an affair. We know that Sarah has had an affair. What do you guys think? Is he believable?
I feel like even though they might have had issues in their relationship, at the end of the day, he does love her to a pretty high extent, because he wouldn't be spiraling down the way he is in this episode. He really is losing himself. He doesn't know how to keep his composure anymore, and I think that truly shows his care for her and that he doesn't have his partner anymore.
Agreed. If he did kill Sarah, I'd be shocked. I don't think he did at all. At this point, at least.
Do you have any inklings? Since you're the one that you seem to be able to get the guesses right.
Yeah, she's nailing it.
Can you go
I think,
who do you
I think it's a female on the show.
Ooh.
Oh, bam!
A female on the show?
Yeah, just because
Because there's only so many females so
Are
far.
you a secret producer for Notorious? Do you have access to our scripts or something? What's happening?
I'm curious. Tell us some more.
I just finished watching a show where like the female was the killer, so that's why I'm all.
But who do you suspect? Do you think it's like Ellen?
Do you think it's Julia?
Yeah.
Don't you go there.
No.
Do not talk smack about my girl.
Because that's another question about like what's the nature of the relationship between Julia and Jake too. You know, is it strictly platonic and just that, or is there kind of maybe some deep seated history where she might be jealous? I don't know.
I think my top suspect is Ella at this point.
Oh, you got it out for Ella. You never know.
I mean, to kill her boss's love.
So do you think that Ella secretly loves Jake?
Or Ella loves Oscar?
Yeah.
Ella loves Oscar.
Now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
These are
You're
some
not
good
gonna get a
theories
peep out of me.
But about the Jake and Julia thing, I can't wait till they get in like a passionate argument and then like start making out of nowhere.
There was a scene in the previews, but of two people making out. I couldn't tell who it was. I thought it was Julia and someone, but it was so quick that I couldn't even see who it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this the episode where?
Is this it?
I'm like waiting. They're gonna get in like some huge fight and then.
I know. I think we all want to see it.
Make out.
Jake is feeling very. I mean, he's very vulnerable right now.
He's very vulnerable.
I'm gonna give him advice though. Don't watch videos of Sarah over and over again.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah. He's
Right?
emotionally breaking down. Poor guy.
Yeah.
I want to give him a hug.
Is that all you want to give him? I see you. She's like, a hug.
Just a hug.
Innocent minds.
Of course.
We have angel minds over here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but I am interested to see where that goes, and if and when something might happen between Julia and Jake. But I love their relationship. I do love like their trusted kind of relationship. Her checking in on him, making sure that he's okay.
Totally.
How's he doing, and so at least there's definitely a deep founded trust between the two of them.
Totally.
In your interactions with like Wendy Walker and Mark Gegaros, did you know like what was the nature of their interaction? Did you notice kind of a similar
dynamic? So I didn't meet them together until I moved to Leicester. So I moved from New York. We shot the pilot in Atlanta. And the series is here in LA. But I didn't get to see them interact until we all got together for the cast dinner. It's hilarious. They're hilarious together. And apparently, I mean, I can't tell this story as well as they do, but, when they were pitching the show, there were people, different networks who I won't name, but definitely ABC, obviously, who in the room were like, yeah, we want this show just because of their banter, where it was like Mark would bring up Scott Peterson, and Wendy would go, oh God, Mark, Scott again, you think he's innocent. He'd be like, he is innocent, and they'd go back and forth, and it's their chemistry is hilarious. It's very fun and playful, and it's like they're these, well-respected adults, but when they get together, they're just like, they're timeless, and it's like, this bond. It's almost like you see them as these like kids together. There's this innocence and beautiful. It's a beautiful chemistry, and I'm happy that so much of the show rests on whether Piper and Daniel would be potentially capture that, and they have such a magical connection. It's really it's really great to work with and to watch.
They're doing so good.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I mean, like, they look on the
yeah. They are beautiful.
I ship it.
Yeah.
I'm like 12 at heart, so I use the word ship. That happened.
That happened.
So how has it been, working with this group of with this cast? How is it different, and what stands out about working with this team?
I think the thing that stands out to me is just the fact that everybody is, really clearly talented and down to earth and playful and fun and generous, and I think that's the thing that I find most inspiring is how generous our cast is with one another, both on camera and off camera. And there's I'm not one in the past. I haven't been one to. I'm very serious and professional at work, but this cast, just like, we laugh constantly. So it is so, we have little videos, especially Ryan. Ryan got me into it because he'd always be filming shit and filming me and stuff. So then I started filming him, and now we have this thing going on. And so, before or after every episode, we'll release some fun behind the scenes videos. And yeah, those will come your way very soon.
Nice.
Because it's just a really great dynamic between the 8 of us, and all of the guest actors and everyone is just really talented and down to earth and professional, prepared, and so it's a real pleasure.
I mean, well, it's only the 2nd episode, and we see the chemistry on screen, to be honest, with how great the acting in the show is.
Well, that's key, right?
Yeah.
Especially for a new show, is believability, between the relationships. Yeah. And especially when there are relationships like with Daniel and Piper, and with me and Piper, and with, Amy and Daniel and Jay, all of these, and Daniel and Kevin, all of these, the show is so dependent on the believability of these dynamics,
The friendships.
yeah.
Speaking of Daniel and Jay, their characters have a great bromance going on.
Don't they? I mean, they're literally bros in a bromance,
It's gonna break my heart if anything happens to ruin that romance.
Are you plotting something? What's happening?
And she's gonna send something to the
She's like,
writer,
I've written an email to the writers,
No.
and I've told them that I want.
I don't think anything should happen. I think their bromance should be perfect.
They are, and it's so cute seeing them together on set. I mean, I don't get to work with, sometimes Daniel, when he comes into the media world and, LHL, we get to work together, but we haven't yet explored each other's worlds as much as I think we will throughout the season. But just seeing them together at events, and whenever I do see them on set, they have such a beautiful relationship. And they're just, everyone's so sweet, really, really. You think those boys are beautiful? Yeah, but they're just, they are, but they're really beautiful humans.
I mean, this cast is beautiful in general.
Pretty cast.
Yeah,
It's a
pretty
very
cast.
pretty cast.
So this week we had the addition of a new kind of beautiful specimen, I thought. Sarah's brother, who's a very,
Yes.
I was like, okay.
He is a hottie, and he is freaking hilarious. He has these dramatic scenes, and right after he'll just he'll make all of us laugh. And in the hair and makeup people adore him because it's constantly just laughs with him. Yeah, there are a lot of laughs. We get our ab workouts in from laughing.
So what do you guys think about the introduction of Sarah's brother, Alan Wells? Because we, at this point, we still don't know a lot about Sarah, what she was doing, getting that passport, what her background is, where she was going. What do you guys think is going to happen? And then, we're going to see if we can get some
Lips are sealed until
from Sepideh.
dead for spoilers.
I still feel like I need more because nothing was really answered. And when he agreed in the end to go on to the show, I'm like,
Yeah.
It's a big moment. So I'm waiting for next week's episode.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think he did a good job playing the heartbroken brother role.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked that he said no to going on the show at first because, I mean, that close to when, like, your sister dies?
Totally.
No.
It's hard, as, you know, nobody teaches us. There's no school for how to deal with grief or to how to handle a murder, or, you know what I mean? And so it feels like if I were to go on the show after my sibling or whomever died, I'd be selling out in some way. And this is some, you know, because she's basically, it's an entertainment show.
Yeah.
We deal with cases in the, you know, entertainment world and in the political world. So it's kind of like a mishmash of all these different people who come on, and it's kind of the trending stories.
No, that's what I love. I mean, I love how it reflects reality. I think about that all the time. Anytime you have someone who's been recently lost, whether it's via a shooting or an overdose, and you see the families come on the shows, and I always think to myself, how are they even able to pull it together to even appear on the show? And it's kind of reflected in the same way. You know, as a family member of one of the victims, it's like, you know, is this show just having me on for entertainment value? Are they going to make a mockery? Or do I use it as an opportunity to, you know, share my family member's story and tell about themselves, kind of in the same way that she mentioned Nicole Brown, and how did people know that she, you know, she was into baking and things like that. Yeah. I love the reflection of reality and
and there's never, with the media, I mean, just in our society, there's never a right path with any of this, you know? It's like, if you go on and you speak up, then people are criticizing you for, oh, why is it so easy for them to speak up about it? And then if you don't, people are criticizing you for not saying anything and you know, regretting that choice. And so that's what I think makes this title, the title of the show, so appropriate, is the fact that no matter what, I mean, what's the difference between famous and notorious? There's no difference, you know?
Yeah, no, I was going to say something and I just forgot. I'll remember halfway through your next topic.
I wanted to, because I mean, one of the things that I love about the show are just all the twists that come inside the show. So we talked about the twist with their Abby having a baby and then maybe not having a baby, but then she hid the baby. But let's go back to the title of the show, the Perp Walk. So the arrest where Oscar gets arrested at the funeral. Yeah. To me, that was some really ingenious thinking in terms of having kind of setting the stage, Jake setting the stage so that the arrest takes place at the funeral, because he knows that Oscar is
he knows the formula. I mean, it is like a scientific formula how all of this shit goes down, you know? And Jake has mastered it.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle of sorts that he's a professional at playing.
And do you guys remember, was it last month or a few weeks ago, the whole thing that happened, the standoff with Chris Brown at his house?
Yes.
And who is his lawyer? Mark Gegaros. So it was crazy because of the timing. It was like we had 3 weeks or whatever for the show's debut, you know, premiere, and then this whole thing went down. I remember I was on set and they were talking about it. I was like, oh my God. Is there better publicity? It's like a real, and that's what the show is. It's what deals with the blurry line between reality and things that are sort of manipulated and twisted and distorted.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because even as Oscar is kind of spiraling under control, I just kept feeling so sorry for Jake. Like, he has this client that he's just stay in your suite, just stay in your suite, and this client is, you know, I'm gonna go down to the bar, I'm gonna have a drink, all this, that, and the other. And it's funny that you mentioned the Chris Brown incident, because, you know, we know that he can be a little bit volatile, and I think of musicians generally, they can tend to. I know you're a singer.
Yeah, you know what? Say it again. Say it. What?
But we know that they can tend to be, you know. They follow their heart. Let's say that. So
they're impulsive creatures. We can say it like that.
I tried to put it a little more gently, but yeah, we know that sometimes they want to do what they want to do. And I was thinking to myself, like, how would an attorney kind of in Jake's position where your client is kind of unwinding, how do they deal with that situation? So it's funny that you mentioned that Chris Brown situation, because I think it must have been the same thing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Jake wants so badly to believe that, like, Oscar's completely innocent, and it's...
Oh, wait, I thought you said Oscar was
killing
innocent.
him. Oh, no, I think he is.
Yeah.
But, like, the cops at this point don't seem to...
Sure. All of the arrows are directed in his direction.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a hard... Yeah, it's a very twisty situation. Very complicated.
Getting arrested at his wife's...
That's...
You know what I want.
Yeah. That's...
Don't have the cops on your side at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jake did set that up too.
Yeah.
He did it on purpose.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
Still, I mean, Jake's a genius.
He's a good full stop.
Hashtag Jake's a genius.
We should start that, yeah.
We should. Let's start that.
I think it'll be fun to see kind of what I think we're going to soon see, hopefully, like a back and forth between Alan Wells, Sarah's brother, his side of the story, and then Oscar whenever he might appear on.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like he has a lot of anger toward Oscar.
Mm-hmm. I want to know why.
Oh, yeah.
He even said, he's like, I'm going to reveal the
I can't wait for
truth
you
of
guys
the
to
peasant."
watch the
I'm
next
like,
couple episodes.
like, what did he
I
do?
want to know why, yeah.
Oh, you will know. It's juicy. It's
yeah,
good.
because they've kept us hanging for a couple of
Yeah.
episodes. I'm like, I want to know about Sarah. I want to know what was behind.
Yeah.
Like, what was her background? What was she hiding? What was she hiding from?
We'll definitely learn more about that family. We'll learn more about Sarah. We'll learn more about Oscar. We'll learn more about all of these people in the episodes to come.
I'm sure Megan's going to do a lot to, like, help.
She doesn't sleep.
I know.
Megan's collecting all of the information.
I tweeted out at least twice tonight, what would Julia do without her?
Yeah, it's nice. And their dynamic, they really, Julia took Megan under her wing and sort of mentored her. And there's like this big sister, little sister dynamic. But at the same time, I feel like they really do learn and feed off of each other. Because maybe in the beginning she was less experienced and maybe more green, but now she's got the hang of it. And it's kind of like they finish each other's sentences, and it's like they're always one step ahead of each other. And so it's a really there's a really beautiful dynamic between the two of them, and it's also like they come from such different backgrounds, and Megan, having grown up maybe from a less how do I put this? Like, she's just a working class girl and has had to make her own way in the world. And because of her past career, she has, there's a savviness about her, and her street smarts and connections definitely come into play. And this is, it's not based on a real character necessarily, but these people exist.
Yeah,
they're called in the industry, they're called booker hookers. They will go at any length, to any length to get information or to get the guests, to secure the guests. They will, reserve rooms for guests that they secure under different names and in discrete locations. They will go to any length to get the information, the story.
It's funny because you were mentioning that you, like, think about it when you see the news. I've never thought about, like, what goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, now you do.
When I see the news until, now, I'll be like, oh, I wonder what's happening behind, like, the scenes of that news story on TV.
Well, that's the thing that I really do appreciate about this show, and I appreciated it when I first read the script, was that if nothing else, even if you don't like this show, the fact that it forces you to see our world in a different way... Yeah. I think it's made its mark, I think it's succeeded in just that, it's not like any other show, I don't think, that has ever been out. We've seen the legal shows, we've seen the shows about the media and the newsrooms, but the way these two worlds connect and collide in order to shape the information we get. It's pretty awesome.
Different, and it has a good time slot on it.
And yes.
Very good time slot.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, it follows Grey's Anatomy, and that's a great lead-in.
Totally.
Medical drama to legal drama.
Yeah, very
I'm
different
always
world. And then
biased
to
about
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
you know, which is also a
CGIT.
totally different flavor. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a nice little palette.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were talking before we kind of got started about your background. I know you mentioned you speak Farsi.
I
so
do speak Farsi, yes. My
Persian?
family, yes,
Okay.
Persian, yes. So my family, I was actually not born in Iran. I was born in Germany, but then when I was about 1, moved to the States and grew up in the Bay Area. Then I studied music for undergrad, and then I studied acting for grad, and then I moved to New York and started working, and I had no idea I'd get into film and TV. I came from opera, and then I went into theater, and that was always my passion. Stage was my passion.
I always think when I see people going to New York, I always think of New York as the theater spot, and then LA as the kind of film and television.
Times have changed. There are something like 30 or 25 shows being shot in New York alone, and everything's being cast. Actually, I got cast off of my tape for Notorious. So that, we live in a digital world where everything is. Before, you'd have to, I mean, this is just from what I've heard, you'd have to go in for an audition, and then they bring you back, and they keep bringing you back, and they still do that, but now they can access your audition immediately. So let's say I left this room after an audition, the producers, who might be all over the world, can access your audition video immediately because of the internet. So now it's kind of irrelevant where you live, as long as you have a good team. And so I got this job out of New York, and then I just moved here 2 months ago.
Wow. Hey. Yeah. Like in LA.
So
I
we're
like
gonna make
working.
you. So what's your impression so far?
I plead the fifth. No, I like LA a lot. I like working here. Mm-hmm. I love New York, though. I really love New York. Yeah, it's just in certain. It just depends on what you are drawn to, really, and what you click with. And New York, that energy doesn't always make me happy necessarily. It can be really stressful, but it's just such a dynamic, electric city, and I adore it.
I feel like especially during like the holiday time.
Yeah, although it's weird because the last couple of winters, we got a late start on the winter and the snow, and it was kind of gloomy actually during Christmas time. It was like kind of rainy, and I was like, I'd rather be in the sun actually. Over this. Let's go to
Sing
California.
some songs to kind of uplift your spirit. Do you still sing at all?
I do actually. I have a Broadway benefit thingy for children with brain tumors. It's a benefit concert coming up. I believe it's October 23rd. I'll give you guys the information.
Yeah.
But I do sing when I can. It's really busy, so it's hard to find the time, and it's such I studied opera, and I sing opera, and I do jazz and other kinds of music as well, but classical music is my passion. So.
Yeah, search your singing on YouTube because incredible.
Oh, you're very sweet.
So good. I was really impressed last night.
Thank you. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you.
And you guys definitely have a ton of musical fans. I saw Usher tweeted about this show, Diddy,
Usher.
Ice Cube
Oh my gosh.
tweeted about. I mean, so
Totally.
people are really, really getting into it from the musical background
Totally.
and elsewhere. So
Yeah.
really excited to see how things can, kind of carry forward throughout
And
the season.
these people, every single person that I've met, from P. Diddy to Usher, they're so awesome and so supportive and so humble and down to earth. And I had a little talk with Usher actually at our premiere party about it was crazy because I was leaving Barry's boot camp. I was working out, and I happened to witness him getting his Hollywood star. And so I told him that, and I was like, congratulations. And he said, there are a few things in life that just really floor you, that take you back, and that was one of them. That was one of the things that was like, I can't believe my life right now. And you know, hearing someone like Usher, like I grew up listening to Usher, and he's just been in the limelight for so many years, and hearing him say, it was just very cool. He's very cool, very down to earth.
You're like, wait, you're not used to this?
I'm like, you make me want to leave the one I'm with, start a new relationship with you. This is what you do.
All right. So hopefully, you know, maybe sometime during the season, maybe here's an open invitation. Maybe we'll see Usher. But thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time, and we cannot wait to see.
Thank you.
We cannot wait to see what happens. Like,
you won't be disappointed.
Predictions.
Well, I should be asking you for your prediction.
Oh yeah.
Let's do predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
So I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. I'm a little bit floored. I do not know what's going to happen, and I just want to know what Sarah's background is. Yeah. I don't know if it's Oscar yet. I think there's going to be I think it can't be Oscar just because I know there has to be a twist. That's all I can give you.
I'm gonna stick with Ella's guilty.
I love it.
And Mariann.
I just need a little more information. I want to know the relationship between Sarah's brother and Oscar and what's going on there first.
Oh yeah.
And then I can see if Oscar is truly innocent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Those are our predictions for today. Thank you, Sepideh, for joining us.
Thank you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at @yamyams.
Sepideh Moafi is my Twitter, Instagram, all of it.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV, and also thank you. I don't know how to say your name, Quina, for watching QUINA for watching at 12:31 a.m.
You guys can find me at Mariann_Shag.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Buzz.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.